We are live. 1 second. Oh, be careful. Be careful. Yay! Happy Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk.
Welcome.
Ascension Talk, is that what I said? I did
Welcome
say that right,
Friday
right?
Tea Time Ascension Talk.
I did say that
beautiful
right.
hearts, beloveds all around the country and world. We're so happy to join you today. Man, it's been a couple
4
weeks,
weeks, but
huh?
hold on, sweetie. Take it easy, because we're also going live on Instagram. This is so exciting. So let's just welcome everybody.
Hi,
Hi, Fiorella.
Good
So
to
much
see you.
love. Hello, beautiful, amazing Instagram family. So we always welcome. We've been doing this many months. So we welcome you. Please tell us what tea you're drinking. We're just about to put our South African Rooibos tea. This tea is the gourmet tea from Tea Salon in New York.
Yeah.
Freaking unbelievable and remarkable. So
Hi, Valerie.
we're
Good
about to
see
have
you.
our big pot of tea because the tea is a huge part of our sitting back, chilling, relaxing. Hi, Valerie. So let us know what tea you're drinking and what city, what country are you in joining us on this beautiful Venus Friday? 70 degrees in Washington, D.C.
Gosh, we were going to do this outside. I mean,
Yeah.
But if we did this outside, you might be seeing me do this. That's what happens when I'm in front of the sun and I just want to take in all the sun, or we may have been burnt our faces in midday sunlight. So we came in here and to bless us and to feel the energy and to royally, before we start, royally give the greatest, biggest, most beautiful thanks.
For what?
To the design of all the designs, the gifts that I was so honored to receive the day that we did our deepest ancestral clearing, in which Honey designed, and I'm going to bring it closer so that you guys can see her phenomenal, incredible, magnificent artwork of Archangel Michael's sword.
Well, it's Archangel Michael and Archeo of Faith. It's both of the golden sword, Michael, dedicated.
Sword, the chakras, the golden wings, the beautiful pink hues, and the chalice of the energy right here.
That's the chalice cup. So it was dedicated. We'll talk about how this was dedicated.
So you can see the pink underneath.
Right. And it does represent this sacred flame that I've been working with and the decrees. And this was given to him after, him owning his etheric wings of freedom after the ancestral deep programming and cleansing with it. So I was guided to create this
and
for
light
him.
language right here that's written.
It's all light language inside of it. And this is the Merkaba crystal there, but this I wanted it to represent the sacred divine feminine and masculine of Archeo of Faith and also Archangel Michael, that twin encounter energy, and how this chalice cup represents when we go through our transformation, when we're resurrected in our own ascension flame of light, we own our etheric wing. That's what that ascension is, and you're lifted because you now become the living chalice. So that was dedicated to that. Thank you, love.
Beautiful. I just want to
thank you. Oh, hi, Carrie. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. This is wonderful. And then the other ones are if you want to bring that, so we'll talk about that for a minute because that's the continuation. So the month of October, I've been very dedicated in this space of creating some of you have seen this already. There are 12 rays of light that I am bringing in the diamond golden energy to assist in delivering the golden age. And each of them have the living light language around them. And each ray is specific for its quality, its presentation, and also the archangel that's associated with it. And some of the other masters that are working with this specific ray and the crystals that are in it. And all of this is all about the transmission of the living rays of light that are here, part of our embodiment into our Christed beingness from our mighty I am presence. And each of them represent one aspect of the eternal flame of light, which we are. And when I've done this, you see the videos. I've done this all live in the transmission language. So they're living vibration when they are placed within the room. So it gets to vibrate, and it is the horizontal and vertical axis of the diamond template. You need the diamond template for the anchoring of the golden age. But anyway, this one is fantastic. This is Archangel Zakia, of course, Saint Germain, and there's a lot more to it. Anyway, Michael, you can put it back. So we'll get into this. And the whole month of October was dedicated in these rays of light. And I just finished the other rays, the other 8 rays. I just have to put the crystals on them, and that will complete in just anchoring them, because when I'm in it, I'm saying the decrees. The decrees are a huge part of what I'm experiencing, and then I can bring them into this plate. But you just got right into it.
I just wanted to celebrate, because I felt like when one can really create from the depth of her heart, and what I love about watching Honey is there's such this magnificent ability for her to shine. And as I watch her, she's in there listening to the decrees, listening to God's channel on the internet, watching all of the energy that's coming in through her and then being acted upon as it's being brought forth into her sacred art. I mean, when you look at her creativity, it is this unique divine nature that I find is just, it's hard to describe in words, more the feeling of just being like, wow, how amazing can someone just bring all of it through the energy of this sacred, beautiful heart, which I'm very grateful
you're so
for.
sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you're
my
welcome.
love. I feel art, we're all artists. We all have an art that is a huge part of the golden age. Each of us have to tap into that art, whether it's the healing art, the art expression, however way that is. It is such a necessary part, because it is from the etheric plane, and it is when it particularly embodies the beauty, the quality of divine virtues. We're being asked to bring it here, and it's just an expression. And we have multiple way of expression, whether it's in movement, whether it is in design, whether it's in canvas, whether it's in jewelry, or whether it's clothing, whether it's however way is of service. It is a service that is being created, and I like making mine and make it available to as many people as possible, particularly the other flames, because they're living vibration. I really feel like I don't own them. I was just a vessel that I was able to bring in to being in that trance state, and allowing the way that communication was coming as I was repeating the decrees, and the sacred flames were vibrating through, so they can be of service. And you can even have the image of them, and they will serve exactly as that in your living room, wherever. And I'm making it free, available to everybody. Share it, do whatever you need to do with it, enjoy it, because God's gifts are all of us are bringing God's gifts into. And that's the golden age, to share it with each other. So thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
So much love, so much love. Yes, so Valerie, these are my Persian tea glasses. I usually have the saucer with them. We should bring it just so that we can. Michael, can you hear it?
Right here. Bring what? What would you like?
No, because I want to show the proper way. I would be having the tea. So if we were, look how little I'm wearing today, because it's just so amazingly hot. Valerie, it's like 70 degrees today. We sat outside and had in the balcony and just totally enjoying the breakfast feast, because it's so incredible. Thank you. Carrie, thank you so much. Is your name Carrie? It says Carrie Gallery. The shaman and the chef, yeah, they're here too. Okay, so this is the traditional way. We have the saucer and the tea. So if you're having it, we have it like this, because we don't want the tea falling into the saucer. You don't really have it to catch the tea falling, but it's much more for sure, because if it does fall in it, that's really bad etiquette in the Middle East. Well, we're not in the Middle East, thank goodness. So we're here. So we hold one in one hand, we have in the other hand, and we say Besalamati.
Besalamati, dear heart. Salamati, Christina. Good to see you, Michelle.
Michelle June. Michelle, I bought her a set of this. Remember this? And of course, these are the evil eye protectors. And I grew up with my family. They were all so heavily obsessed with evil eye protector. Evil eye is everywhere. And it was one of the, it was one of the programs I had to like break out of. Yeah. I had to like dismantle that because everything was around evil eye and how, if you would get the evil eye, this happened to you, you would get the evil eye. That would happen, you get the evil eye. So it was, the superstition was so much. I never felt it was healthy. So I made sure I go against that one too. Yeah. I just love the glasses.
Welcome, Lori Lee. Thank you for always joining us. What a beautiful, blessed day we have here on this Friday, November 6th. I can't tell you, when Honey and I sat outside in our morning to have breakfast, we were like, wow, the sun is radiating. It feels like, Valerie, Florida sun is blessing us here in Maryland, and we cannot be more grateful because it just brings this warmth to our hearts.
Let me ask you a question. You think it's just the sun? You think it's just this grandfather's sun?
No, I know it's beyond the grandfather's sun.
Right. Doesn't it feel?
I feel. It's
what do you feel?
I feel it's the golden rays of the great central sun that's blasting us with all of this incredible codes, transmissions, updates. Like for me, if it wasn't for Honey, I might be just sitting out there looking at the sun and just taking it in for 8 hours a day. Because for me, when I sit under that, there's a frequency, there's an energy that comes right through me. And I just feel this refreshing, nourishing peace that touches my heart. It's like alchemization. I feel like as the sun comes in.
It is a living alchemy, right?
I feel as the sun comes in and warms my skin and warms my body, my heart just fills with this precious love, and it becomes this fresh juice of just wonderful tea that you can drink so much. And I don't know if it's just me in this year of 2020, but when I feel these rays coming in, it's a complete transformation. Like every time I'm out there, I'm like, thank you, sun. It could be for a couple minutes. It may be like if I'm going out and I don't know, stopping by Target or right wherever, and I just stop and I look at the sun and I'm like, thank you, sun. It gives this fresh breath of life.
I feel like it's like this first food we're taking. Wait a minute, there's Luca. Hi, Luca. So much luck.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, Luca, look, more diamonds. I drew a lot of diamonds. I can't wait till you come over. You'll be here soon. You get to see all the diamond energy, Luca.
We're talking about the powerful, amazing rays of sun, which I know you feel too because you're a starseed.
Yeah. And
you are the ones that, really blast those rays through your incredible dear.
Shamanti says hi. So I feel like the sun, but these past couple of days, despite all the chemtrails that they've been going and blasting, but it is amazing to feel, like really viscerally feel the living vibration of their blasting codes. And we're in this month of, so like from 8/8 to 9/9 to 10/10 to 11/11, it's been, how you say, optimizing, going up another octave. And that's why I feel like October will go through it, like the amount that we had to dismantle more within the programs within us, that we really consciously saw, my goodness, this, because they have no place for what is being blasted from the great central sun through the eternal flame of light. And it's like our first, finally, we're returning to our first food, like the true food, which is the ray of light. And that's why there's more chemtrails to make sure they block this. But even if they're doing it, they can't block it, right?
Here's something interesting. Yesterday, when Honey and I, we finished a beautiful, amazing healing session, which we'll talk more about today with beautiful couples. But we went outside and we sat in the park across from us. And we just felt the sun. And all of a sudden there was like one plane, another plane. But you know what's amazing about all these chemtrails? the sun was so bright that they were not only dissipating them and withholding the clouds. And we notice how the rainbow frequencies were still coming through to shine through them. And I just placed my hands up to send all the love to them, all the light to these trails, to be like, you know what, as much as there's this attempt to create the energies that they want, the love in our heart that we sat on that grass, feeling Mother Earth, feeling the warm day, feeling the sun, it brought so much joy, so much happiness.
So
like we were sitting there like, wow,
we're like high as a kite, sitting on the grass,
just
middle
like
of the day, just in the sun, getting like blasted. Do you have that picture
she
to
took
show?
a picture of me. It's kind of embarrassing.
No, it's perfect.
But like for those that want to see the ridiculousness of me, just
why is that ridiculous? This is like, pure self-love.
Somehow I tucked my shirt into my belly, and then I would just pass out.
Look,
and it was just funny. Really, it was just funny because I like, this is me. It's just like literally feeling the energy of the sun on my
hold
grass.
on, where was that? If you can also show this, hold on one second, because the ray of light was so strong. One second. I want to show this as well.
I mean, like,
oh my goodness!
Hello, incredible. Higher Heart. Thank you for joining us.
Good
to see you.
Darling.
So much blessings for all your love and support. If you're joining, where
Michael, what is going on? Can you go to the Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
We're talking about the beautiful sun rays right now, and I just say in these times.
But hold on. The rainbow light, you can't these are things you can't sometimes like it is unbelievable. Like this rainbow, then on the door, look at the vibration right here. So as we're sitting also outside, the rainbow. But the rainbow still was there, Michael. Yeah. Like even in the chemtrails. And then
hi there, Lisa.
Let me show you this. Then when I left, right across, I saw this thing on the floor, and I saw
on the
ground, it is a crystal heart. Look, it literally, and here it is. I'll show it to you. And I knew, my God, hold this. Let me get it and put it here. It's just amazing. Look, this was right on the ground. The ruby red heart of the Christ heart. I mean, this stuff it is right here, the dimensional of magic and the flow and the Christed energy, the crystalline, because of these rays of light, it's right here. But you can't experience it if your energy is so split and let's say focus on the outside. You can't experience the magic that's going on right here. So when I saw this, it just right at my foot, right when I left you yesterday from the park to come back to the apartment.
I didn't want to come back yet.
Michael didn't want to. I was speechless because I knew exactly, because this is also when earlier in the day I was painting, was all dedicated to the ruby red of the Christ heart. So one of the paintings is in the red, dedicated to the ruby red vibration of the Christ heart. And so why are we sharing this? Because I feel like Michael and I are giddy, excited, because we can viscerally feel the vibration as our literally like our first food before anything else.
And I feel why you may see that we're so giddy and we're so happy, especially during these times, was something was really brought forward, not only from our beautiful ancestral cleanse at the end of October, but on Tuesday night in our meditation, Honey had a very, very powerful message. And what she expressed to me, I feel like it's been this growing bubble of energy within me that has been expanding, because our love for each other and what we're doing and how we are moving through these days have been this unbelievable illumination, this radiation of like when we wake up in the morning, whether it's Honey, Valerie, you'd appreciate this, 5 in the morning, listening to the first bird saying,
first bird.
Is it morning time? Is it morning? No, honey, it's okay. Is it morning time? Can we get up? Honey, it's still dark out. It's morning time. And the first bird is kind of like the dog that's sleeping and the ear goes up or the tail goes up, but it's not even moving yet. It's just like, it's like radar, like her little antennas come out
goes on.
and it goes up. It's to that loving expression and her exuberance that she exudes in ways that touches me. It's been phenomenal. And if you want to share the message from the meditation, it really touched not only both of our hearts, but what is in front of us and what I feel is in front of all of us to expand in these days of really shining what's happening. What was the message?
But let's go back. So Tuesday night, before Tuesday night, most of you have been gathering with us week after week on Tuesday nights for our weekly meditation, holding the circle of divine love for Gaia and humanity. So this was week 48, and I feel out of the entire 2020, we only missed 1 week. Yeah. I mean, we've been dedicated week after. It's free, it's open to everyone, and it's just such a devotion place where we show up.
I don't think we missed any weeks.
We did one because we did Sweden in October. That was the one. There was one we missed.
No, I think
we did. No, we did. Okay. We did. And so having said that, it's just from this place of pure love. And one of the things that was so important is to anything that is happening on this outer field, especially the divine perfection of election couldn't be more perfect, but you can only experience the perfection if you're in your divine alignment. You can see, oh, wow, all of this is playing out because it has to play out. And if your energy by any chance is being pulled to it, if you've been like choosing side, if you've been like pulled to what happens, if you've been putting all your energy to go make sure you vote, you do all of that, you're still vibrating from a timeline of this third dimensional consciousness, whereas the fifth dimensional is already here, and the fifth dimensional is truly celebration in the divine perfection of it. So if your energy has been withdrawn and in that space of celebration and the total neutrality, and nothing is being pulled on your three lower three chakras. And I feel Tuesday was a major testament to many of us that chose to be in our celebration, choose to embrace, totally be unattached to the outcome. It was one of the biggest initiations to go through. And so to speak, completely not be phased whether there's an outcome or not outcome, anything like that. The reason why I'm saying that, because that ties into the living vibration of these sun codes. Right. It ties into this diamond frequency. It ties into the divine alignment. It ties into the golden age. It ties into the personal planetary ascension. It ties into this living decrees that are part of the embodiment where the soul fragments are returning from different places, so we can be operating from our wholeness, operating from our original eternal flame, that we are whole, we are complete. And it really requires that space that is withdrawn so much that can be inside to be able to experience that. And go ahead.
And so the question that I asked Honey before all of that, which was beautiful, thank you for sharing all of that.
Hi, Angela.
Was on Tuesday night, since I will say it, since you didn't say it.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was bringing it a little bit behind the scene.
Is the message that you received Tuesday night in the meditation.
Oh, in the meditation. Oh. In the meditation.
When Honey asked me a question, she always asked me, you don't have to go all the way around. You can just answer the questions.
Look at the babies. I feel like we jumped into Friday like this. We're like this
Simple.
today.
I was just saying the message you got in the meditation for us specifically was all we're supposed to do.
Oh, the one in the morning. Oh. Michael, say the morning meditation was a different message than the evening meditation. We're still working on communication. You talked about the morning meditation.
Yes.
That's the morning meditation. I thought
okay.
you were talking about the group meditation. There was a lot of messages, and I'm like, which one do I say?
I thought it touched your heart so much that all I
It
had to
touched me
say,
so much.
all I had to say was meditation, because it was such a powerful message that lifted my spirit
No,
up.
but we did two major ones.
This was a very powerful message. So,
hi, Alex.
So meditation or not? Hi, Alex.
Okay.
Good to
so
see you.
In the morning meditation Tuesday, Michael and I were sitting.
You gotta calm the Starsky down sometimes.
Michael, I'm so hot. I'm menopausal too. I'm sweating like crazy. Michael, your hands cannot touch my. It's too really hot. Like I'm sweaty. I'm drenched in sweat right now.
Get the question.
Okay. So we were sitting on Globe. We're sitting on Gaia across each other.
In morning meditation.
In the morning meditation. And then the way we were, it was literally the globe. And then we saw Gaia stand up in her magnificent, ginormous presence, and her belly was earth. As Michael and I were sitting on it, just holding that space in front of each other, it was complete telepathic communication that our only job, the only responsibility we have is to only love. That's it. That is it. No, we know this.
Say that one more time.
Our responsibility.
Smile. Feel it. Feel it.
I am feeling
it. Before you go, say it nice and slow.
You say it. Is to love.
Our only
responsibility. Our only
responsibility is to love. Now let's just feel that.
It is the love. It is the love of but it's from the eternal, not from the human plane. The human plane does not give you the possibility. They don't. Hi, Carrie. We love having you on here. I know. Sorry, we get a little bit wild with each other here. Thank you.
Thank you for him. And this is our first time doing it on
second time.
So
nice
thank you, Carrie, for
see
being here as well.
You always make comments. Nice to meet you here.
Beautiful level. So
it was so beautiful. So love. We do talk about this. So. It's been like since the 1960s, that movement, when the clarion call went out in the 50s, there's been this movement of love. There's been all of this. And of course, it was so much with psychedelics, this and that, opening up. We're in a complete different place now. And the music, all of that. But we're in such a different place now where the pure consciousness that is all encompassing, it is whole, it is self-fed, it is completely on its own, and it is all-inclusive. That's the part we're coming to be able to truly operate from the vibration of love, but again, not from the human plane. It is through all the electronic bodies, these 4 outer expressions, and the eternal flame through our Holy Christ itself is coming to handle this. And I felt like on Tuesday night, Lisa was with us. It was so beautiful. Fiorella was with us. We had several amazing friends here in person, and of course also online. We got to just sit in the vibration of love. And you know what? Week after week after week, Tuesday nights, we've been doing that.
Yeah.
Just anchor it. And then Tuesday night was like wasn't it kind of like our not graduation test, but like a midterm. It was like a midterm test. Yeah. Can we sit on something so like a major global thing and just sit here and love? And we totally did it.
I mean,
totally did it.
Imagine like the whole world is going through major
they're having a
separation.
Shit fit. We're like loving life.
And so many people may get triggered or might be like, how irresponsible, how can you not be so involved? Why are you giving your energy away from something? And all I have to say is, when you can really feel within here, and you can really turn the eyes off outwardly and dive within here to feel that magnificent, infinite, incredible, sacred source of divine love that is right here, and really bring all of the attention, not just 99%, every part of the attention here, everything on the outside starts to dissolve.
Totally.
Because then we realize that it can't touch what's vibrating in here. It can't even do any type of judgment from the mind. It can't even bring a vibration down.
When we call that in, it cannot be touched.
Right. And as that is being brought forward, what's so amazing for all of you that are watching the replay is that we each have that beautiful, sacred force within us. We each have that ability to really feel that energy. And it is that love, that oneness. No matter what divide is going on, it actually motivates me to see how much we can unify. We can bring that into the oneness because all the other forces are trying to do the opposite. It's almost like it's too easy to see what's happening there that it's almost like turning the blinds because the light's coming outside and like, okay, I want a little more darkness in here in my room just to feel the energy of what's here, not figuratively darkness, but just the space here. It's too bright. Turn off what's happening out there. Tune in to the light of love in our heart and see what happens. See the feeling, the vibration, the emotion of how we get to enjoy that. And I'm grateful that we had sacred group of people here. We had individuals online, and I feel it could not have been a greater test, initiation to see how we don't give attention outwardly.
Yeah, so a great initiation as we have been incarnated to go through initiations after initiations. And I feel one of the things that really came about that I did speak of, but we haven't had a chance to be on Friday Tea Time to really speak of it. One of the important programs that out of dissolving the ancestral program, which so many of us healer also somehow by default have had in our systems, has been to go through sort of like the trauma or the drama or the challenge or the difficulty and what have you, but go through suffering. This has been one of the programs that has been part of our genetic sort of makeup in our DNA, where at some point when we were blasted with enough light, we would have the opportunity to be able to have the awakening in the realization that we do not have to suffer to go through the transmutation or transformation anymore. So one of the things that came up with me, and it has stayed since that Sunday, has been this recognition that I can joy through this. And I kept telling Micah, I was like, why didn't somebody tell me? And I've known this, but we also can go through the experience with joy. Like there is no reason to suffer through going through a conditioning, a program, a trigger, anything like that. You can actually the technology of joy can be used. There is no spiritual bypass, anything. You still have to go dive in and deep, but you can actually get excited to discover what you're about to discover rather than suffering. Oh shit, I gotta go through this. It's gonna be awful, this and that, which is because it doesn't feel good. So that's our natural default. So we have to like literally shift the default, just like it is on our phones. Like my default literally, like I literally saw it, like the joy button is there and I just literally moved it to green. It's now stayed there and I'm not going anywhere. But let me just share with that too, my love. We're so excited. We're so excited today. Okay, so we missed you all, by the way, on Friday Tea Time. So this is another part of why we're excited, so we can finally catch up. The other part of it, joy, is that joy is a living vibration that comes from your highest state of truth, but not joy from the mental body, not just joy from the emotional body, not just the joy from the etheric body. It's a living vibration inside your cells because it's the life force through that inner child that has been able to be out of the prison and now is free to be in its expression and its discovery. The child is not going to be like, if it has to discover something, it's going to discover it with excitement and joy, not suffering. So that part, unfortunately, because of a lot of the tragedies we've experienced in this lifetime, we've put that, we've sort of like covered that so much. So, and of course, naturally as a protection, but all that protection has also backfired on us as well, because the inner child, which is the yellow flame, is not able to do its work. The violet flame is the combination of the blue flame of divine father's protection and the will, and the pink flame of divine mother, and these two together create the violet flame. Through the action of the violet flame, there is a transfiguration. So once that transfiguration takes place, then there is the illumination wisdom of the inner child. Like it's just right there. So that's why that triple heart flame has to be very, very active and vibrant, and I feel that's what we're experiencing right now. And then we can go through something that the entire world has its focus on, and for us, we're like, our focus is on pure divine love and celebration, because we are above what is being played out here, because we have shifted timeline within us. I just want to bring a timeline so then we can discuss timeline.
Okay. Thank you, love.
Joy, baby. And, joy. And where's your tease, everyone? Where is your tease, everyone?
And just to bring the energy of joy, knowing that it is okay if you're going through suffering. It's okay if you're feeling pain. It's okay if you're going through moments that are challenging at this very time. There's nothing wrong or right, good or bad about that. And so when that opportunity to give joy even to that, to bring the joy to the suffering, to bring joy into the body of the areas that feel empty and despair, hopelessness. This energy is here to be utilized in every format. For us, we're vibrating that because we're staying above it all, because we clearly see what's happening before us.
But we transcended it. So, Michael, let's talk about October for a second, because I want to see when you had to take off to go through your program, it didn't feel good, but how did you use joy? So let's talk about that too.
Okay, just lost my track.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
You're talking about Tuesday.
You're talking about Tuesday. I just wanted just to finish the energy of joy, the energy of what it is composed of. I feel it's a natural essence that all of us can utilize at every moment, at every second, in each and every dynamic of actions before even jumping into it. Like the other day when I was doing a live stream and I was saying, okay, if you can't feel joy, what happens if you just bring your attention straight to here? Here's our little straight to this wonderful sacred rose.
Can you feel the frequency immediately?
The joy of what's present in every single item. What happens if you see?
No, Michael.
What happens if you see
download the codes?
Like a beautiful dragon that was made for us through our dear sacred Lichia, organites that have crystals inside of it. When you just see something that can radiate that joy and radiate that beautiful energy, it gives us the opportunity to see what frequencies are available at any time, at any moment. Because why I say that is because many sometimes say, I cannot feel joy. A lot of times people say, I'm suffering too much to feel joy. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong or right about it. Yet there's also a choice to shift out of that victim consciousness or shift out of that despair and hopelessness and bring your attention to what's joyfulness. Just to wrap it up, when my mom brought these, I thought, how cute is this beautiful white little pumpkin? I brought to Honey, actually bought 2 of them. The joy of everything that's created in this earth has the ability to raise our vibration and frequency beyond anything that can pull us down, beyond anything that can distract us. And I want to really, bring that to our attention, because right now, it is really our ability right now to blast as much joy as we can to all the areas out there that are not creating joy, for all the areas that are trying to create fear, for all the areas that are trying to create sadness. It is our joy that helps transform so that it doesn't allow us to descend or be pulled into a lower vibration.
But 2020, all the wonderful efforts have been to make sure, especially in the light worker communities, light bringers, wayshowers, system busters, beacons, starseeds, to make sure your joy indicator drops. And the second it drops, that's when you can get really tackled with. So there's a lot in the astral plane that can attach to you, and like, sweetheart, and they can attach to you, and they can only attach to you when your joy indicator has fallen. And holy shizzle, this whole 2020 we've had plenty opportunity for that, and no problem. Being a guardian of our sacred flame, of our sacred joy. Joy is that flame, is such a priority above everything else, because you are the creator of all your experiences. On a soul plane, you've agreed to so much to go through, even the most difficult ones. And here you are, it is playing out because it is part of your mastery into transcendence, into transformation in your higher self living here. So as a result of it, you are going to go through this. But the one thing that we kind of left out in that pamphlet in the soul plane was like, hey, you can go through it with joy. And thank God is somehow like I feel I just had the reawakening. Oh wow, I can joy through this. I don't have to suffer, because once I do that, we're plugged into each other in the vibration of light, because we're all carriers of light, of this rainbow light. So once one of us does it, we make it available within the collective field, and then everybody else starts to vibrate through that same. So there's that dismantling of the suffering, because if you understand the opposing frequencies, that is a huge part of the divine plan, is part of you being able to separate yourself from that frequency to come back to your wholeness. Your wholeness is part of that. That means you being able to ascend out of that state of consciousness where it no longer pulls on you. And the power of joy gives you that ability. And for it to be self-sustained, because it is a self-sustaining vibration of light, it doesn't need nothing on the outside. And one of the biggest thing is meant from the material world, to recognize you do not need the material world in order to experience the eternal joy or the eternal ecstasy, eternal bliss of your natural state of what you are. You do not need the cannabises. You do not need the plant medicines. You do not need all the alcohol. You don't need all this prescription. If you do those, that's fine. But at some point when you come to awareness, then you already have everything that was given to you as a birthright to come into this incarnation, so that you can bring that part of you in and live from that embodiment. So here we are, finally, collectively, mass awakening. We're coming into the realization. One goes through it, we spread it through wildfire like this, through mediums like this, and then we all recognize, wait a minute, I can joy through this, I don't have to suffer. So then that allows us to dismantle more and more within our lives and pull away from energies that where our energies were pulled into, that was affecting the joy frequency, which is the ascension flame, and bring it all back in, because that's part of that soul fragment that is fragmented, being called and no greater flame rather than the blue flame and the violet flame does so much of that. And that's what I did so much in October when we were dismantling, calling that in to purify my soul aspects and harmonize it and bringing back in God's holy name.
And what's so beautiful that we each have the opportunity to do, which we've said this many times from our beautiful series, the message that came through Honey in 2017 is, what happens when we prioritize joy in our day? What happens when we start shifting from the other frequencies, again, that are there, and then move into first thing in a day, Valerie, listening to those beautiful birds, Honey, hearing those sounds from nature, and prioritizing the whole day upon joy and allowing that joy to lift. It almost reminds me of like when you want to speak to someone. How can we bring, and it may be, what happens if we have to speak to someone and it's a serious or it's a hard subject or it's something that may feel uncomfortable, and we want to bring love and gratitude in our first expression before coming right at them and bringing something that may affect them and pull their energy down. Just like joy, if there's something that we're going throughout the day, we have some challenges ahead of us, bring that joy, bring that light, bring that, what I feel, fun, that innocence of that inner child that allows you to lift the vibration so that when we have to meet other vibrations, we're already moving right through them versus being pulled down. In days like today, when, Honey, we wake up in the morning, and no joke, we get our breakfast and we like look outside, like, is it warm enough? Because it's like sometimes 40 or 50 degrees outside. Can we eat outside? Go, wipe the leaves off the deck. Yes. And we bring our food outside and we sit and we eat in the sun. We bring that joy frequency in through us. We allow it. And then we share that in ways that I feel keeps our frequency elevated so other energies cannot come through. And so that prioritization, I can't express, no matter how many to-do lists, responsibilities, work, children, feel the joy that comes first and then allow everything to magically come in and watch what happens. For us, I feel like it's been a beautiful process because we feel that because we're high vibe, we're high vibes.
And let's talk about let's just catch up with all of you first. How you all doing? How you doing?
Break.
And how was this week? Be honest. How many of you were so you've been so pulled into what's gonna happen, who's gonna be the whatever, your energy has been really focused there. I'm just curious to know.
And thank you, Valerie.
And just let us know.
I appreciate, Valerie, because I think that is very truthful, what you said about having to take a pause on Facebook or social media, having, doing what you need to do so that your energy is not pulled into others, because it is very important to honor what it is within you without being distracted.
We're going to talk about it because we have taken off to do what we need to. So also, how you doing? Did this week has there been things being pulled on you? And it's okay if it has. Just be honest. No problem. Is your energy focused what's going to happen with election in order for your life to move on? Just curious, because these are all parts of the way that communication is communicating to you, that you are not in power of your own reality, of your own timeline, of your own destiny. And that's okay, because it also gives you the opportunity to recognize the gift is here for you to take your power back, your divine power. You do not need to wait on anybody to take an office for you to be your divine sovereign being, for you to access all that you need from your eternal essence. There's nothing that blocks you from being in your own joy. It doesn't matter what's going on, because that's your own. We're going to talk about this for a second, too.
Valerie said, no focus on this election, trusting that whoever is holding the highest light is moved into place. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Valerie, thank you. Lisa said, I've been to a farm and interacted with the animals every day this week.
Also,
so much joy.
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
So much
I
joy.
feel if we could all interact, when you see this one interact with goats or bunnies or animals, doesn't it automatically make you feel like a beautiful being of just like bubbling energy?
Tell them what I do every single day. One of the things that I do every single day to feed my inner joy is 5 minutes on Instagram, on Persian cats Instagram page. I go look at the Persian cats and I go crazy, or the owls, right?
Yeah.
Like I feed myself because I feel like so high just looking at the images of these long white-haired Persian cats, which I'm calling it, and we want to adopt one because he's not enough Persian cat for me. I need like a long-haired Persian
lover,
cat.
but if she wants a Persian cat,
so I
we're
feed
getting
myself.
there.
I let that part of me every single day. I can't help. I look at the picture. I'm like high as a kite just looking at these images, and we don't have the pet here. So, I was at Licia's house. I squeezed her cat so much, like I couldn't help myself. The joy, but we can do that, and I want to do. I want you to read what everybody's saying, because I want to talk about then also like the challenges we went through last week. How do we apply joy into our life?
So Angela said, I stayed out of it almost completely and focused more on a master class I'm taking. Beautiful. I did feel the bumps of the others from election. I helped them get back on point and cleared it from my field immediately. Beautiful, nice. Angela. Thank you. Lisa, the chickens are the best. They're clucking. It's so comforting.
It's
Lisa,
so cute.
I'm so happy you see that, because there was a time when I lived on a Mexican ranch, and I can't express the amount of frustration at 6 a.m. of hearing the roosters cluck and cluck and cluck. I mean, I love the chickens. I love them, but I appreciate your honoring them, because every morning I would hear the cock-a-doodle-doos, and it was almost like, can I just get one more hour of sleep? Is there a possibility that doesn't have to be so loud? But, bless those chickens, bless all of those farm animals. They are here to bring us back to joy, and bless you, Lisa, for bringing that energy so you can shine it. Angela, stayed pretty good overall. Thank you. Valerie, yes, sometimes you just need to look at puppies or kittens.
Oh my goodness.
I agree.
Oh my goodness.
I saw a beautiful post by our dear sister Marcia Gifford in Canada, and she had this beautiful granddaughter with this dog, and the baby was sitting there with the dog's nose like right across, and I'm like, could all of us just take a small time out and just, it's almost like, remember that game like stop and go or freeze, like freeze. Could we just all freeze and allow ourselves to take that moment to look at a puppy, to look at a kitten, and just to feel the eminence of like, that energy is out there for us to feel the fullness of what our innocence, our purity, our true playfulness that we can dive into at any moment. So thank you, Valerie, for reminding us, because it is very, very important itself right there. Lori Lee, I'm right behind you. It's very important to bring honey to the farms of goats.
Oh my goodness! Literally, listen, I found an image of Nigerian dwarf goats. They're this big. I went screamed. I jumped on Michael. I said, we have to get this one. I said, Michael, listen to me.
You know what I imagine?
Goat, owl, and what's the other one I want? The Persian white cat. That's it. I'm set. When
I saw these Nigerian goats, I imagine, like, those little grass sods that you like throw down. I imagine like on our carpet, because goats need grass. I could just see us like revolutionizing our place.
I am so doing this.
To put farm, because
literally, me, sister.
Because it's one thing to have cats, dogs, and normal pets in our house. We have to have them approved. But then there's this whole other list, which Honey didn't know, like to have an owl. You're not really supposed to have an owl. They're not deemed as pets. Goats, they're farm animals.
No, the owl is okay. I will not have. That's okay. That's okay.
Goats and all the other are farm animals. So I am open to try to raise a farm animal in an apartment, hopefully in a house very soon. But a man growing up on a farm, I am open for every animal possible to be there, because I feel that will give her the ability to really.
What is that? Like animals are ascended beings. They've already gone through their ascension. They are operating at pure love vibration. That's what we feel that way. And like these
Welcome,
babies.
Demetrius. Thank you for being
here.
Hi,
Demetrius. So much love. And it's so like it just immediately, instantly shifts the dimensional fields of consciousness in you. You literally move to a different portal like instantly. And so that becomes our responsibility. And I feel like anytime we go through challenges, so let's talk about October. I want to bring this up with you all. The month of October, there were a few things that had come up towards the end of September, and I was not okay with it. And Michael knows the minute I don't feel okay, because what's happening, there are things sitting in my crystalline diamond light body, and when it's in my diamond light body, it doesn't make me feel good, and I have to address it, and it has to be spoken about. And some of these things are difficult to talk about. So one part is for me to have the courage to speak it. The other part is for Michael to have the courage to heart it, to hear it. So there's this part that both of us have to step forward in our courage and be able to communicate. And usually it just so happened in our dynamic, I'm the initiator, so I come started and then communicated, because to be able to, I just know I am not okay with this or F or like G or whatever it is, and
F or G
instead of A to Z. Okay.
The F or G is just like this.
Well, whatever. Q and like T. I don't know.
This is what I love about my Persian beloved.
Hot. By the way, I want to know all your menopause recipes. Just tell me, because this is like on fire.
Did anyone give her a holistic menopause? Because for all these years that I've met her, there's never been any talk about it at all. At all. So thank you, Fiora. A to Z, and she's from Peru. There's not been any talk. So for all of us beautiful dear men and other beings that are supporting this,
I am taking Primrose oil. I'm taking several things, but this is hot.
Luca,
hot.
Thank you, Luca.
Hi, Luca.
Thank you, A to Z. Thank you. And that's coming from a beautiful boy.
Anyway, so having said that, so there were some difficult things. There were some difficult things we had to address. And so one of the most important, there was an area that was so deep in my heart that tied into that joy that I'm speaking. And I had kind of put it on the side. I had brought it up to Michael, and Michael was just not receiving it, and it was creating such frustration in me. I brought it up several times. Why doesn't he hear this? And he loves to hear what's going on, because he's not one that doesn't want to hear. He hears it, but then he puts it on the shelf. He doesn't respond to it. And then it feels to me it's ignoring, whereas his action, then one part is ignoring, the other part is not. Something's not adding up. And then there were a couple of other programs that tie into all of this. So finally, I blew up, and I was like, Michael, I'm onto something. There is some ancestral program that has surfaced. I'm seeing it so clearly. I need to bring it to your attention, and I'm not taking another step forward. And I'm usually like that. When it's that clear, I can't lie to myself. It's that clear because I know I'm a disservice to me. I'm a disservice to us. I'm a disservice to our union. And then my team is waiting for me to find the courage to express it. And as difficult as it is, and again, be put in a position, I cannot be attached to what's going to happen to the outcome between him and I have to state the truth, and I have to be very bold with it. So that's part of my initiation. Then there's the part of Michael's initiation to hear it all, to be able to stomach it, and then for him to then be like, okay, I see this, I have to discover what this is. So one of the things that happened was towards that end of mid-October, I said, Michael, we need a few days off, because if we're in each other's field, we can't go through this. We need it's a major trigger, but the trigger is opportunity. We have to dismantle. I can see it. I need you to see it. So let's take space off. So we took 5 days away from each other. He didn't want to go. And I was like, it's okay, go, because we can't grow if we're in each other's field. So Michael went to his mom. I went here. And for me, my joy was, Michael, you can speak to that. My joy was, I'm going to disconnect. And I disconnected for 3 days to create that first painting of the Divine's Will, because that was coming. And it was like the chant of the decree of not my will, not my will, let thy will be done. Thy will be done. And that was the one to find my power in here of the divine power to go through these ancestral programs that were so deep, and I could see it's in the collective. And again, so many times we've done this and we're working on the collective, nothing big deal. But I saw how it ties like in this twisted way to Michael. And I knew if I undo this, then Michael can undo it, but we need our space. And I found I was like, I'm going to put music, I'm going to dance through it, I'm going to paint, I'm going to find my joy through this. And that was such a victory for me because it was truly going through such a difficult space that I needed to go through. Nobody else was going to do it. And really another deep, dark tunnel, yet with joy.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, wow, I'm dismantling that default program as well to then be able to meet each other several days later, create the most sacred ceremonial rose, beautiful way where we could just sit in front of each other.
Before we get there.
And then to explain all of that. So I want you to share.
And first of all, thank you, Valerie. I think you're spot on. I love what Valerie said. Honey, please give Michael his props for even staying in a committed relationship as a double Aquarius. I'm amazed. Air signs need their space to breathe. Thank you, Valerie, number one, for remembering.
I told him to have his space, Valerie. Valerie, I said to him, he wanted to say, I said, no, go have your space. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that?
That was after after the Kali energy came in. It was like,
you have got to go.
That was after the Loch Ness monster came out. Was like, you ready?
It wasn't the Loch Ness. It was Kali all the way.
Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate that because there is that, just before I go, there is a healthy space, and I feel that energy is very needed, especially when ones live together, serve so closely together, and do everything together. We've learned about that healthy space, and even deeper, learning of that healthy self-love that we give to each other. Hi, Christine. That healthy self-love to give, because sometimes we're so committed of service that finding that space within ourselves, and then find that space even within our own divine relationship. So I love you, Valerie. I appreciate that. Your big remembrance of my double Aquarius, my commitment, since that was some big issues in my first couple of years of even just trying to sign a lease, let alone thinking that am I doomed to be here in DC for as long time. So in great honor. When going home, it was a gift. It was a gift.
So finally, when you said, okay, I will go, because I had to really speak to you about that and welcome you. Please, Michael, I need my space. You need your space, right?
And so I appreciate what Honey said, because in that time and space to allow each other to go to our own areas, what I immediately went into, as many knows, I went directly into nature. I went under the sun, and I just took out my journal and just started writing. Just started to feel what was coming through, what energies were within me, discovering that where was I giving my joy away to? Yeah. I was giving it away to my emotions. Most specifically, as many as you know, we are such sensitive beings. And isn't it amazing when those emotions arise, how we can give our power to those emotions, how we can give our power to our sadness, to our grief, to all the areas that all of a sudden that container of joy, that container of love is diminished because all the energy is now based on this sadness. Yeah. Not that sadness is bad, not that, devastation is bad, not this pain that is bad, but giving everything to that was basically deflecting, bending the amount of love that I could shine. It was actually retracting and holding back my love. I was giving my energy away to areas that I would know that I would not want on a regular day, or even in a moment that I want to shine my love. Why am I shining love to my levels of maybe not intimidation, but my sense of like walking on eggshells and making sure I don't do something wrong, giving it to my fears, and all of a sudden being like, well, if I do this and do this and do this.
Those are all programs that I had. It's like, Michael, they're programs. They're not you.
Or old programs like, I'll just give space. Right. Space heals. Space heals. Not for this one. You don't want to give any space, because the more space is giving, the more she's retracting. So it was interesting to really look at those and sit there in the sun. Allow myself to go deep into the shamanic energy of allowing the sun rays to come through and really help. What I did on a vision journey was help dissolve those areas that were no longer mine, because the gift was that I got to be there with my mom and watching my mom, seeing my mom, not really going into what I was doing, but just seeing how my mom was there. I could see those programs coming from her, coming from my grandmother, coming from my father, and just very like navigating.
It was so in front
it was in
of you,
front of me. So
right?
navigating ways where I can ask her without giving my all the information what I was going through, to honor her and see what could I see from my lineage, from my ancestors, so that I can dissolve them, so I can let them go. Beautiful enough, Honey was sending decrees. I was using decrees in the violet flame to help release them. Looking at those old programs.
And it was beautiful because we were still supporting each
We were
other,
supporting
going
each other
through
long
this,
distance.
but like in our own separate space,
It's sometimes
and not babying each other at all. Just we totally taking this to do what is responsible we must do.
And being accountable for myself, while still being compassionate to myself, allowing myself to see what could I let go, what areas were giving me the area just to shine more love, more light into pieces that literally had control over me, that intruder energy that was here, that was all of a sudden playing this dance of like my old internal wounds, those wounds of abandonment or the wounds of rejection. And it's, as soon as I was able to meet them with love and really dissolve the illusion or the fears out of them, it gave me such confidence. It allowed my love to shine so much. It's amazing when we can let go of our old programs, our old beliefs, and bring the love through what we want and shine it into those areas and watch them dissolve in the respect and honor, in surrendering as they came, and even going into this really sad places and allowing those tears to come through, allowing the energies of seeing where are my old patterns and where do I want to stop doing these continual programs, and how can I shift that from really here into my heart. And I feel when I come deep in the heart and I express from the heart how much force, how much power that has than the limitations that these old programs, because literally it was holding my love back.
So, all of you see Michael, he's so incredible, like just so loving, like a real angelic human being. But you will be shocked in our everyday life how much he holds back. And like for me, I'm like, I know you, what's going on? Something is not matching up. So it will create frustration. So one of the biggest programs that I had to dissolve was that, like, our ancestral line, if you speak your total truth to a man, he will leave you, and you cannot say it. You have to play along because keep him pleased or whatever, because if you speak your truth, he will leave. And this has been one of the things grained with my mother. Now, of course, coming in that incarnation, I have broken every single ritual, everything that I've had, not making sure I don't follow it, because I came to make sure I dissolve everything from that consciousness. Now, this was one of the other ones which I've also done quite a bit, but this was another level because my mother loves Michael so much. But, like, even for me, I don't have to explain anything to anyone. There's some things that I know I am not okay with because it doesn't match the truth of my being, and I have to address it. And there is you do risk communicating, but the risk comes from your giving power to the insecurity. So that was part of me. And as I was explaining to my mom, as a mom, you could never express yourself clearly, but I have to express it. And I have to take whatever the chance is, because I cannot live without my truth, my total truth on that. So it's fascinating going through dissolving this program, then communicating with my mom, for her to be like, oh, wow, interesting, to then see how we both come out of it with so much love, so much respect, because there is a will, there is a desire. We both want to grow to be the greatest version of ourselves. And that's why these things have been placed in our life, in our union, so we can have the courage to face them, to speak them, to communicate them, to then choose to dissolve them, choose to free ourselves, come to the freedom's flame through the ascension flame, the ascension gateway. We are in it ourselves. That's why we had to do that to be able to enter the month of November, which is an entire gateway because of the octaves of light building and building and building. This was such a necessary part.
And also to recognize what we were going through is what many of you were going through, and what the collective is going through. And so just a huge reminder for all of you that are listening. Every time these energies are coming through, it's happening on such a phenomenal dynamic, personal, planetary, collective, karmic, ancestral. There are so many beautiful gifts that are coming out of it. And for me, I take a huge dominion of really looking at what the gift is being presented in the situation. How can we really see how the universe is being beautifully bringing it to this situation, which is almost like the perfect storm. It's like that time where everything has to be set in its time, where usually within me, sleepless, hungry, exhausted. Usually within us, we've been so busy the past 2 weeks, usually families in crisis. Everything has to happen where when you look at it from outside, it's like all these factors that are pulling, and then it's like pop. And then all of a sudden it's like, psh, and the water gate's going. Yet when we look back at it and really reflect of really the love that we give to ourselves, the love that we give to each other, the areas that give us the ability to communicate deeper, to choose our words because our words do have power, to watch so close of when this mind wants to judge and project, not even from a verbal standpoint, but from an energetic standpoint. And what I say about that is, how many of you have been around people, and this is very, I have to watch it with me because sometimes when Honey sees I can get in that mode of like coming out of the wet, being like a cold, wretched dog, and I don't have to say anything. And she feels the energy. The energies are like, we are updating so highly, so quickly to different frequencies that we don't have to say anything. We actually feel each other's energy. So it takes even higher discipline
in like each other's bodies, right. And
higher discipline, higher responsibility, just to see what we're exuding through our emotional and mental body without even communicating, because we can feel each other's energy, which then requires the discipline not to personalize that, not to judge that, not to go into any levels of defending what we're own feeling, because part of that is also clearing. But the responsibility is not to also bring that into someone's space intentionally or unconsciously, because we're still learning we're still navigating through this system that's moving through the energy that's moving through us. And for me, it's been amazing to see how fine these layers are, because in the beginning it was like blatant, but as we've refined it deeper and deeper, the art of refinement has given us that ability to see how we can move. And I agree with you, Valerie. Coming from my mom is one of the most mental beings in the whole world. So there's a lot of thinking, processing, analyzing, so many different areas that it pulls me away from my heart. And so that's why sometimes, there's an area, she said, Aquarius tend to be analytical thinkers and can seem somewhat aloof. They will hesitate to speak what's in their mind until they have thought it completely through. Exactly. And sometimes even that has given me the opportunity where I
we're also coming, I do want to share to that. I feel like whatever your astrological sign is, this is one of the other things that's a big part of our dismantling, because there's this understanding of ourselves from our astrological sign, which I feel was at some point very important. And then let's say there's human design, there's gene keys, whatever. All of those are to really satisfy the mental body of trying to sort of capture who we are. We're still none of that. We are an eternal flame. And I feel the more we dismantle on this, the more, this is also part of the programs we let go, the more we are able to be our divine sovereign being as an eternal flame of light, as an eternal flame of light that is embodying the Christ itself that wants to come in. Once we are letting go more of these things, more of that truth is literally streaming in. And it's not at all identified by any of these consciousnesses. Like, I don't even connect with, okay, being a Taurus. Okay, so I came in, but I also had to dissolve that. I will not be at all boxed into that consciousness because I came in as a Taurus or the Chinese astrological sign of a rat. There is that. Yeah, I appreciate some of the signature, but I feel it's of a purpose, but it still does not identify me as a being of light. And the other part of it, I feel what is important is to be able to watch all of this and be able to, okay, I'm going to dissolve that as well. I'm going to dissolve this as well. I'm going to dissolve this. So the fullness of me is able to be radiated. And as we do this, we're able to be much more responsible with our higher bodies, which is that frequency. So sometimes we may not say something, we may not emotionally think, but the energetic is communicating. Because when we are working on ascension is not just right now. We are ascending to our higher state of consciousness right now through being incarnated on earth. There's a bit of this delay, slowing down process, because as soon as we're here, we're going to be back. We're going to be in the other planes where there's so much other is ascending, whether we're going to be with the ascended master. So we have to be very refined in the art of refinement. We must know ourselves, not at the human form, not at the emotional body, not at the mental body, not at the etheric body, but as a soul signature that is a spirit that is, in this all-encompassing light stream. That is, we're coming to recognize it. And that's why these responsibilities are becoming more and more apparent. And that's why, like with Michael and I in our union, it's not just physically being responsible, it's not just emotionally being responsible, energetically very responsible, because we're also very clear. I feel you're becoming more in awareness of that clarity, that through this energetic signature, individually and together in our union, we can create harm very quickly like this, or we can create incredible just like this. So as we're becoming much more responsible, that responsibility comes from that highest level of self-love, but not the human self-love, the higher self-love, in that reverence, in that integral awareness, because there is a realization. It's like, wow, there's a lot of power here. I am going to be so responsible for this, so I do not do any harm in any consciousness, because I cannot create any karma. And the karma is not just to eat an animal. There's multiple karmas, because then that has to cycle around again, because we are ascending to the next level of consciousness when we leave this embodiment. So it makes no sense. Once you realize this, you are going to be a very more responsible being, particularly with your frequency field.
And at the end of the day, I feel like these virtues that constantly remind us how we can be more compassionate with one each other, how we can be more kind, how we can be more loving. Because honestly, when we really look at each and every action, there is a reaction, and all of us are in human being bodies. All of us that we are moving into this beautiful ascension, this Christ conscious, we're in our imperfections that is perfection. And that does require the patience. Thank you, Demetrius. That requires the will, the capital WILL from the divine. It does require our courage and strength. It does require our ability a lot of times to let go of everything that we possibly know and come back to our heart and express what we all want at the end of the day. And that is the unconditional love. It is the unconditional respect.
But let me ask you, you said what I want. Is it what you want, or is it
what I am?
What you are, what your truth is called to
what my
proclaim, right?
What I know I am.
Correct.
What I am in this frequency, what I am being, and what areas that also distract me from that. And so it's being compassionate with those areas that are somewhat limited. It's being loving to those blockages and obstructions that have held me back from the fullness of my love. It's being very kind, soft, and what I feel all of us nourishing ourselves in ways to honor what is it that we need for ourselves so that we can fully honor one another.
You are so cute. What I love about him is this. He's so like, for example, when there's a part of me, this thing that happened for me is like, all right, that's it. Council meeting with myself. I need to sit with myself with all parts of me. All right, one part is creating problem. We're going to get to the bottom of this. So for me, I go directly, okay, who's the problem maker here? Is it my inner child? Is it my teenager? Is it my adult? Is it my elderly? What's going on? My soul fragment, where are they? Let's have a council meeting, because I am not giving you power. I am not going to give you power anymore, because Michael is much more gentle. Let me see what happened. For me, it's like, we're going to get to the bottom of this, because for me, it's like,
this is the bowl.
But this has nothing to, this is me meeting me, because for me, I'm like, I refuse to give any part of that part of me that might feel victim or whatever. I'm going to have a talk with you. Let's talk about this. What's going on? So whatever it is, I go face it, because I found you are creating a distraction, a frequency interruption. This is not coming from a truth. If you need evidence, we're going to put the evidence in front of you. Let's talk about what is the problem here, and why am I limiting myself?
What is the gift that's being
no.
here?
It is because at first it's coming. No, it is coming from a place of like. It would appear as a conflict, as a conflict, challenge, whatever. So I want to say, so for me, usually my elder comes, let's have a meeting. Okay, what's going on? And it's always like as if my grandmother, the way she would do when I was a teenager, talk to me. So I have that meeting with all of me to see where is that faulty perception that feels insecure, that may feel whatever, is not hearded, is hearted, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I feel that for me, that brings my liberation, because that crystal clarity, there is a witness that is watching all of this. I can't fool myself. I can see I am literally energetically giving into a part that is disempowering me, disempowering our flame, disempowering our service. How can I support that? I'm going to head on face it. Like, we have to have a direct conversation.
Beautiful.
Right.
I
love about you, because you are,
and I feel every one of us have beautiful,
Angela, you and I are like
wonderful ways of how we face it. There may be an intensity that wants to come up in a battlefield.
Probably Demetrius, me and Angela will be having the same way. Council meeting.
Sometimes there's a battlefield of coming in with all of our accidents, like we're going to take care. And there's also the sense.
No, I don't know. It's my elder. My elder talks in that moment, Michael.
There's also a nourishing, and it's not soft as in weak. It's actually a gentle strongness, because sometimes we're so hard and so critical and can be very, very
I am firm. I'm not critical. Straight to the point, because
the intensity sometimes can be brought back into the alignment of balance, so the fire doesn't go through the roof, burn the holes.
No, it doesn't have to. We're just having a direct conversation.
There's no hair because the eyelashes were smoked. There's no eyelashes, and you're like, okay, I received that one, because there's a lot of healing that's being done. I feel in the end, there's a lot of healing that's being brought forward. And for me personally, I want to bring as much love to that healing. I want to bring as much compassion to that healing. I want to bring as much reverence to that healing, because everything that's being brought forward, I appreciate that the universe is divinely guiding it through us. And I feel both of us.
I was so appreciative.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I appreciated my teenager, Michael?
Oh my God, your teenager, when she gets into
it. No, she's so good now.
Good now?
No, Michael. my gosh, she's so good now.
She's happy.
So,
She's
my
angry.
teenager is so.
Run for the borders.
No, she is so good now. Have you seen her lately? She's amazing.
Delicious. Point being is, all of those that are going through it, there's I feel there's a beautiful zest to it. There's this nature that each and every one of us have in our own love, in our own way of handling it. And again, nothing is right or wrong, good or bad. It's how we've been placed forward. And I feel the more we start to navigate it in the grace of it, in the illumination of how we can use ourselves as reflections of the light that comes through us, the more that we're not so pulled into the energies, the more we can pat ourselves, because really at the end of the day, the greater resiliency we have coming out of the reaction and triggers is, I feel, the more we've evolved higher, because things that are pulling on us and create a deeper reaction, it's just more to step back and say, okay, why does this keep pulling on me? Why does this keep coming around another time, to test to see what is my reaction? What is my response? How am I moving it through? And can I give myself the credit to say, I did a good job this time? Maybe last time I didn't do a good job. Maybe the other time I lost control of my emotions. All of that is allowing us, because really at the end of the day, this is an experience.
There's a
consciousness with the unconsciousness. There's a consciousness with the higher consciousness. Everything here is a creation that this beautiful light of illumination is giving us to ascend through it all.
In divine perfection, right? Isn't it amazing when we can just also, once we've gone through it, we're so grateful. We're on the other side of it. Didn't feel very good, but it seems like now that we're kind of starting to realize we can also with joy go through the process and the divine perfection. And I feel that resistance in itself is in which comes to our field, that has to be met with our consciousness to be transmuted back into the octaves of light, is being now welcomed rather than resisted, which is, I feel, it is a true celebration. And I feel the more we're recognizing the divine perfection in all that is happening simultaneously, like, again, there's a divine perfection in this now, while so many on the collective are still holding their breath, waiting on an outcome. We are completely breathing in the joy of it, completely detached, completely free. And how timely was so perfect teaching the ancient sacred breath of the whales we started on Saturday, because we're breathing the ancient wisdom of the breath in our private group. So we feel the liberation and freedom and the detachment, because the energy is not, we don't care, because the energy is drawn inward into our multidimensional self that is experiencing multidimensional reality, but it's not pulled in one reality versus another.
Isn't it amazing that when we give ourselves the opportunity to go inward and say, wow, I'm not going to give my power to any choice, to any president, to any government, to any political party to make that decision before me. I know that I'm responsible for my own ability to shine what it is within me.
But you are giving a choice. You're choosing you.
Right.
You're actually voting, but you're voting.
You, but so you're voting but not giving the attention out there versus in here. And it's such an important level to remember, that when we can hold our power within ourselves and not give it to the others to see that there's going to be some savior, some being on the outside that's going to come and shift, when really into our hearts and allowing ourselves to what I feel, Angela, yes, we're learning, but we're also remembering. I feel like the remembrance of our mastery that is here allows us to go through all the energies that are giving us that guidance of where we're moving through in these next couple of months.
I remember when you asked me, like, so honey, are you going to vote? I said, of course, I'm going to vote for God. Definitely, but I will absolutely not go there to put none of that. My energy just I respect whoever does whatever they need to. I just cannot. It is totally in violation of my truth to go walk somewhere, do a ballot. Like I cannot. I choose absolutely, and I definitely vote. And my vote is the eternal flame. That's where all of it is fully saturated, pulled in. I just cannot. I cannot even put that action, because by taking that action, I am giving consent to that energetic field, and that goes in violation to that which I know to be true in me, what is asked of me, you know. And but I respect whoever is whatever timeline, what they need to do. Beautiful, do what you got to do. That just wasn't my truth at all, my timeline.
And really, what comes up in our next weeks and our months, I feel pretty much very
let's talk
excited.
about that, because we get 11-11.
I feel very excited. I feel very happy. I feel like whatever happens in these next days or weeks, we're moving forward. We're not moving backwards. And I really feel right now that as the light expands and as it shines brighter, it's going to help really expand what we're seeing in the darkness. It's going to illuminate the darkness that's coming through, and it's going to really show what is happening right now. And the deeper we can focus on that light, and we can maintain ourselves in a higher vibration, then we're going to see all that's being revealed, all that's coming forward, which gives us that ability. Like, we're not going to be stepping backwards. We're not going to be moving in a way. What worked for hundreds and thousands of years is being dissolved and dismantled. So we can't give ourselves this fear of like, oh my gosh, if this guy's elected or this guy's elected, this is going to happen. We're continually moving in a direction of higher frequency, of higher resonance. And the bigger, deeper, grander we move into that, then everything will be revealed in its highest light. And I'm excited, I'm giddy, and I'm also watching just to see how all of it's expanding in our own backyard and in our light community, and all the divisions that people are trying to create this fight, or this way I have to prove myself by projecting, and really just watch so that we can shine even more love and light to those that maybe we don't agree with. We can shine more of our beautiful heart and that light of love to the areas that those are still retracted, so we can keep bringing that resonance into its highest plane. And to me, it's like, look at the excitement we get to experience right now. Look at all the things that are unraveling, and we get to witness it. I think that's going to be.
I do love what you said.
It's going to be phenomenal, because to me, there's nothing out there that's going to pull me deeper, because all of these storylines, it's like, well, there's another storyline to shine more love at. There's another opportunity to blast them even higher. Even if people in our own communities want to do this, shine them with more love, shine them with, it's like gives us the opportunity to say, okay, let's go into our infinite reservoir, into our hearts, and do what? Shine love. Because the more we shine love, what are we doing? The more we're receiving it, because it's a two-way direction. It's a two-way sword. The more we blast it out, we're also giving it back to ourselves, because we're emanating from the source of all.
I feel this month of November, we have 2 months till the end of this year. And this has been truly a magical year of pure transcendence on multiple levels. It's been such a huge part of the planetary ascension, because it's not just Earth that is going through its ascension. There are multiple planets going through their ascension. There are multiple consciousness in many different star systems that are going through their ascension. The angelic kingdom and queendom are going through their ascension. So is the ascended master realm. So is the rays of light, the spiritual hierarchy, the ones that hold the office council. So it's such a ginormous expansion. So what is playing out here is part of such a larger focus. And so all of this has been part of it. All of it has been set also in a way so that we can find our divine power throughout this. Now, through each of these major alignments, particularly where it kicked in 7-7, then 8-8, then 9, and the momentum that has picked up 10-10 was a massive one, starting the day 10-1 and then 10-10. So I got to, my gosh, get myself prepared for this, because we're going to, November we came in on 11-1. This jumped spiked again. So as it's jump spiked, you also see more of the opposing force that's part of this. That more of the opposing force comes to also to see where in humanity are we still operating from our lower three chakras that must be addressed for the inner light to come handle it, not the outer light, the inner light, to be able to dismantle the faulty illusion, Maya perception that is in separation of its totality, of its truth, of its eternal flame. Now, when we go to 1111 Stargate, we enter this massive gateway of the triple gateway. So then there's that part. These three parts of us has to come back in a line. We're given the opportunity in this octave of 9 to bring the wholeness of the sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine in the unity consciousness that creates that inner child. So that's why we've been visiting all of these things, so that we can come into that true alignment, because we need that as it builds up the next octave for 1212. Because what is also happening on through our Helios Vistas, our sun, and then the central sun, the galactic sun to source light, this beaming light is becoming even the broad nature of it, it's getting even broader, the spectrum of it. So the more we still have these limitations or debris of consciousness within our fields, it is blocking the streaming, flowing light that is our divine truth to be able to radiate. There's nothing, we don't go blast light and anywhere. It just does it naturally because it's already within it. But these fragments don't allow it to vibrate fully. So as we are coming to our holy Christ itself, the Christ within, we are becoming the living Christed being, as a crystalline being, as one that is fully allowing its inner Christ, its crystal's light to radiate. We're able to then be placed in certain parts of earth to radiate that in the embodiment, so that others will also go through their timelines of becoming. And so whatever is playing on the outer field, it doesn't matter, because together we're co-creating the new timelines that is part of the divine timeline, that is in separation of the narratives, of the stories or distortions. We are co-creating the new realities of the golden age, being in the golden consciousness. And the golden consciousness only come from that in which has been transmuted back into light. Then you receive the golden consciousness. Until you've transmuted through the action of the violet flame, you're unable to embody it. So this is all heading towards winter solstice. I had already received, there are going to be massive amount of people that are not going to be able to be sustained with this spectrum of light. So they're going to be departing um, before solstice, few days before and after, especially that day, because they just cannot be vibrationally anchored in this. So they do cross over into the spirit realm, and that's where attain their ascension, because in the physical plane they have not been able to raise the vibration enough to be able to be sustained. The rest of us, we're going to be fine. We're only going to emanate more. Now, whatever comes between now and then, and that's why this week election was a huge part of it, so you can give yourself a pat in the back if you didn't pay attention, if you were totally free from it. your attention just didn't go there. You stayed in celebration. That means you're going to be able to be more and more sustained within the spectrum of light that is so necessary, part of this blasting wave of light on winter solstice. So we're going to watch how this unfolds.
And thank you, Hannah. It's very beautifully poetically expressed, because I feel our royal essence right now is to keep ourselves at the highest timeline of what we want to create and what we want to visualize right now. No matter what story, no matter what narrative, no matter what is happening in other countries, no matter what is happening in the media, no matter what fears are being brought forward, how crucial it is to still stay focused on what it is that we are co-creating with the divine, of where our vibration holds, because we raise above it, we're able to connect the timelines faster, and we don't bend or yield our light to energies that want to bring us down. So no matter what happens, I almost find it's like our ability to just kind of step back, observe, witness everything, and just allow yourself to watch the energies without any judgment, just using your discernment and almost being aware that things may get louder. Things may get a little more crazy. Things may get into such a heaviness that it's like, okay, that's one field of energy. What energy do I want to focus on? Where do I want to give my attention? Where do I want to visualize the highest grace for the highest good of all? How can I step into my meditations, into my heart? When can I go out into nature? All the actions that we have are right before us. And I find right now, this is the time to live by the love of our hearts in every action that we can do on a daily basis. Simple. The more we can act from our heart, the more we can shift what is out there, then I find the beings that have been brought here to be the frontliners, the ones that we've waited and trained all these years. Now it's our time to really shine that, because we're heading to that anyway. And it's for us, it's like, I feel like it's victorious already. Yeah. We're giving that opportunity to shine that. And now the greatest thing is to help that with our brothers and sisters by holding that vibration love. No matter what they're going through, hold that vibration, hold that love. Because they, by just being in your presence, by just being in your field, by just knowing who you are, it automatically lifts them. Even with honey, there are beings that come to our place. There's people that talk to us and they say, you know what? Just by being with you guys, you give us hope. You give us faith. You really feel good. And we're like, thank you. Because that's what we're being guided toward. When we go into our prayers each morning, we come out so filled with like bliss and joy. And some people may easily projective, like what's happened, that they have no clue what's happening in reality. It's like,
that's not true.
That's their reality.
But no, we are actually very focused on the divine reality, not the illusion reality. To us, this is an illusion reality. So we are very focused on the divine reality, and for sure.
If there's one thing that this beautiful being of divine light that
you love me a lot today. Has
been the greatest gift that I've learned is place it into action.
Yeah.
Put it into action. We can talk it.
Yeah.
We can think it. We can feel it. But the more that I am placing it into action, I feel that is our divine energy that's exuding from us in a way that gives us the opportunity to fully, you said it, Angela, to embody it, to be it. We are human beings living a spiritual experience. We are ascending. Now it's like each day there's this little beautiful angel behind me, little big angels. Like, how are you going to put love into action? What are you going to do today to express more love? What can we do each day to allow our hearts to shine so that our new news frequency can be of love, not fear?
Broadcast.
How can we broadcast ourselves to more connection and unity versus separation? It's like all the pieces are being pulled out and being dissolved. Yet where can we pull them in and allow ourselves to feel what we already know is happening, and then blast them with so much of our joy, our happiness, and most important, gratitude that we get to experience? Because one day, as Honey said the other night, we're going to be sitting there and we're going to be like, remember when back in 2020, we were sitting there all worried. We're falling apart, and everyone was going, what's going to happen? We're going to be in our 90s with no teeth, and we were talking to all the little kids, and like, remember when? What are you talking about? No, we sat around, we talked to people. We were the bottom. We were the minority. People laughed at our teeth with our teeth on. They didn't think what they were. Because at the end of the day, we have to laugh at it. We have to not take it too serious. We have to enjoy this, because this is by far.
I take it so Arcturian. I'm not Syrian. I'm Arcturian. That too. But
because there's levity to everything, and there's light in the joy that we can go. And I feel that if we can laugh with teeth or without teeth, then it opens up the opportunity. So
angel message.
Angel message for today.
What day is today?
Today is November 6th.
Nice.
And it's day number, it's marked right here. It's day number 311.
Good one.
You ready for this one? This is a beautiful one, dear.
All right.
Dear beautiful. So let us place our hands in our heart. Breathing in and breathing out. Just feeling this sacred breath, this sacred love. With one more deep breath in. And one more deep breath out. As we listen to the powerful divine message of hold on to your dreams. Your dreams, goals, ambitions, and intentions are very personal. They belong to you because they're part of your soul's path. Only you know what your heart and spirit are guiding you to do and become. No matter what circumstances arise in your life, how you feel about yourself or what other people say or do, you must hold on to your dreams. They're an essential component of why you were incarnated on earth at this time. They're a part of you, as well as the building blocks of your creations. Today, embrace your desires. Receive them if you haven't thought about them for a while, and ask us angels to help you put them into action. We'll open doors for you and even motivate you to walk through them. The thought for today, repeating after me. I hold on to my dreams no matter what.
I hold on to my dreams no matter what.
For they are personal destiny.
For they are personal destiny.
I only need my own permission to follow them.
I only need my own permission to follow them.
I am fully supported by God and the angels.
I am so fully supported by God and angels.
And my happiness brings positive.
My happiness brings positive.
Healing energy to the world.
My happiness brings positive healing energies to the world.
And so it is.
Nice one. Thank you. And let's see what the Ascension Oracle cards have a message for us today. Oh, of course, Lemurian healing. It is the part of the Divine Mother card right now. Lemurians were fifth dimensional, androgynous beings who loved and wanted to heal Earth. They drew the love of God through the cosmic heart into this planet. Lemurians gathered the divine qualities from our energy fields and that of other stars, adding this to pure source light in order to form healing crystals to help us through transition to the new golden age. The Lemurians then placed these healing crystals in the earth to light up the ley lines. Even now, when two or more gather with humility to focus these crystals, powerful healing takes place. The affirmation is, I send Lemurian healing to Earth.
I send Lemurian healing to Earth.
And so it is.
So it is. Thank you all, dear hearts, on this beautiful, blessed 6th of November. We're grateful for all of you to be here, to share your sacred hearts, and to always be the love and light and the action that you are.
And I want to thank special gratitude to Fiorella son Luca, for being with us. Luca,
did you read that?
I'm so glad, Luca, you were with us. You're always welcome to be with
Lucas
us.
didn't want to give me my phone. He loved to see you guys. I got my phone back just because his afternoon class started.
I love it. So much love to Lucas. So much love. Let us give so much thanks to this now. We ask the Creator's love as the eternal flame of light to bless all of us. Bless our talk, bless our walk, bless our true feelings, bless that inner child of us in all of its endeavors, in all of its discovery, all of its true resonating sound that is here to expand even further and greater to the wholeness of its own mighty I am. We give so much thanks that all of these encounters have been placed before us and all that we've agreed in so plain so that we can experience them in this plane and whatever that needs to be transcended into the octave of light. In the mercy's flame, it is taken care of. We so greatly thank Kuan Yin and her altar in the mercy flame that all of these debris of denser vibration are totally being handled by her office. So grateful. We are so grateful to the Ascension flames that are giving us the opportunity and the gift to truly vibrate through the fields and the fabrics of our lives so that more and more of our holy Christ itself and our mighty I am is stepping forward to every part of life today. We're so grateful to be with each other, to walk with each other in this planetary ascension and just deliver so much goods from the heavenly realm into this plane. What a blessing it is.
Thank you.
We are so gifted. Am tuai tanai. Am tuai tanamiai. Am tua muayati. Am tua kuna miati ai. Inam tunani ayatamiaku. Inamuai ayakiatina muai. Yakai. Hatmiakia ayamiaki. So much grateful. Love you all. Have a magical weekend. We'll see you Tuesday night for our meditation. And everything is coming. We're not going to have an 11-11 event, but we'll probably do 12-12. Yeah.
Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being here.
Bye. Thank you, Instagram family. So